What is going on, baseball fans? It's Tino, the Entertainah, and the Mage all back at it again for the long-awaited live stream. People gave us great feedback off the last one. We really wanted to get something like this going again, and I'm glad we could get the band back together here. Spring training, boys, 5 days away, something like that. March 1st, we get things going. I'm ecstatic about it. I know the fans of this channel and the fans of the Mets are ecstatic about it. High hopes for the team. But I want to start right there, guys. Let's get right into it. Where are we at? Are we excited? I mean, we had a lot of energy last time we were on this stream. We were through the roof. We could have got Bauer. We didn't get Bauer. But we were like, we still feel great. But obviously, things haven't shaken out how we thought since then. So where are we at? What's the temperature right now? We feeling hot? We feeling cool? How are we feeling, Entertainah? How are we feeling?
I'm super psyched. I'm super pumped up for baseball to get underway and to really get this channel rolling and just to see Mets baseball back. Just want to say hello to a couple of people in here: Ray, John, Goose, Big Play Slay, some of the originals. When this channel blows up and we have 10 million subscribers, you guys are going to be the first ones to be able to say that you were here. No, but all kidding aside, like I'm super excited for spring training. Like a lot of my subscribers are starting to talk about it, and we're a month away now from the start of baseball. April 1st, opening day, against the Marlins, right? I think it is on the road, if I'm not mistaken, or is it the Nationals? Whatever it may be. But I'm super excited. I always get excited this time of year for baseball because normally the Knicks are out of it. Even though this is kind of a little bit abnormal of a year because the Knicks started later, so traditionally they're probably like 50 games in and they're kind of out of it by now. It's kind of dead for the football season until like mid-March after free agency. And yeah, this is when I start to get my juices flowing with baseball. And there's a lot to talk about, man. Can't wait to jump into it.
Yeah, so I believe we start with the Nats. We start with a win against the Nationals every year, so I hope that tradition doesn't change. The home opener, which I got tickets for, guys. We got tickets to the home opener. I'm excited about that. That's against the Marlins. Hopefully Jake's on the hill for that. Another 14 strikeout home run game. Can't wait to see our pitchers rake again. But we got some Yankee fans in the chat, guys. This is just baseball. This is baseball fever now. Spring fever. I mean, you gotta feel it in the air. I saw Clint Frazier's bat the other day. I'm a Met fan, but I still can appreciate some swagger like that. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about with New York baseball in general. I saw a lot of Aaron Judge hype today, so there's a lot going on. But Mage, where's your meter at? I can't really tell. You don't look too happy. I think you're happy though.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the same enthusiasm as Matt does in the chat. He says last Friday without Mets baseball until the end of the World Series. So
let's go.
Yeah, I want to be excited, but let's face it. I mean, we're Mets fans, guys, right? We're used to disappointment. So the offseason feels like a little bit of a disappointment. We didn't exactly get all the big fish that we went after. We settled for a little bit of smaller fish. Good news is that it sounds like Francisco Lindor's agent flew in, so it sounds like that they might be talking pretty soon, an extension. So that's exciting. Hopefully we could get that done. But I know we got a bunch of topics on tap for today, but I'm just ready for baseball to get started, boys.
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of hit it on the head with that. So we made a lot of smaller moves. One move we didn't really get to on this channel was a Taijuan Walker addition. That kind of filled out the pitching rotation that seemed already filled out. And it's something we talked about before we got on air on how we're going to handle this pitching rotation, whether we actually do 5 guys, 6 guys, if Lucchesi goes right to the bullpen. Is there going to be a competition? The way I look at it, I hope that the confidence level on David Peterson is where it needs to be, and he really gets the ultimate opportunity. I love Walker. I think he's a high upside guy. He's dealt with some Tommy John. He's 28. We got him on a decent deal, 2 years, $20 million. I think that can work. But, I'd love to see what Peterson has to do. And this is random, but I love the spring training stories of like some of these older guys tutoring the younger guys. I mean, you saw Lindor and McNeil working on double plays. I know Jacob deGrom's with a young pitcher and Matt Allen. He's 19 years old. And just, having the players and the experience we have on this team right now is like, I don't even know what to do with it. There's so much positive in the air, but you're right. We're Met fans. And the Entertainah was telling us a story last time. I think he went to an opening day. They were projected to win 100 games. How many they end up winning?
Yeah, real quick. I think that's the second to last opening day I've been to. I think I went to one maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, but I went to opening day. I think it was 2002, and that off season, I don't know if Mays remembers this. It was a really popular offseason. Like, fans were jacked up. They got Roberto Alomar, they got Jeremy Bernice, they got Mo Vaughn, they got Roger Cedeno. They brought Cedeno back from the first trip here in '99 when he was great, and he stole like 67 bases. And they had this huge offseason. Everybody was so pumped up to start the year. Yeah, most people were picking us to win 95, 100 games. And, it just so happens that year we won like 70. But opening day, I remember it was one of the most miserable baseball games I've ever been to in my life. Obviously, you're excited when you go there. You get there early. You get there for batting practice. I knew that we were in trouble when I saw Mo Vaughn in the cage for batting practice. He swung and missed like 3 pitches. I'm like, that's not good. Not for batting practice. But the game, the Mets lost like 16-1. And there was one play, I'll never forget it. Roger Cedeno, who should have never been playing center field to begin with, was starting in center field for the Mets. And it was a bat off the ball, straightaway center field. And Cedeno thought it was a blooper. And he came running in full speed. You could probably find the clip on YouTube if I had to guess. He came running in full speed like it was a blooper. And the ball went over his head. It landed on the warning track. And it was an inside the park home run. So I'll never forget that. Embarrassing.
Well, speaking of that, now that I think about it, I also saw another spring training storyline is just, picking the brains of the players that are on this team in regards to Dom Smith. A lot of people love, hearing Dom Smith in the media, and I love hearing his mindset. But really, I was really interested in hearing what Brandon Nimmo said. Nimmo said a big part of the knock on his defense the last couple of years is the fact that they felt as a team that they were positioning him wrong and that he's better suited to play further back and come up to the ball, whereas they had him more dead center central, and he had kind of had to judge and depict the ball, whether it was, shorter or further back. And that's obviously, on the warning track shots is where he struggled. But, I want to see these guys get to work. This is where you work out the kinks. This is where you work out some stuff and really get a feel of where this team's going to be. So I love seeing that stuff, but let's start with pitching. And we talked about Walker, but everything seems to have been ironed out at this point, except really the bullpen, because Lugo now, our bread and butter in the bullpen, is dealing with an injury. Hopefully not too serious. They said he's going to start this season on the IL, and hopefully it's not too long. But we know how these things go. Could be 2 months, could be 4 months. Who knows? It's an elbow issue, so you don't want to rush it back. But what's our confidence level on this pitching staff? Obviously, we're kind of top heavy with things, and then a lot of question marks in the back end to the bullpen. So where are your concerns, guys, and kind of where's your confidence at when it comes to this pitching staff?
Midge, go ahead.
Well, for me, first of all, I just want to say what's up to Shane. Shane, thank you for joining us, one of my Twitter boys. So appreciate him joining the live stream. Look, I mean, it really depends because Marcus Stroman is still kind of a mixed bag. So you don't know what you're really getting with Marcus Stroman. Jacob deGrom is really the only ace here. Carlos Carrasco, it can play really well. So he's either probably maybe more of a 2 than a 3 in my book, just because of the consistency that he can give you. Tawan Walker, again, another very good guy, but then we still don't know what we have with Dave Peterson yet as well. He had a very good rookie campaign, but the question is, what are you going to get out of him this year? So it's hard for me. We're going to get Dor back at some point if he doesn't beat Bauer's ass anytime soon. But we're getting Thor back at some point. I like this on paper, our starting rotation. Don't even get me started on the bullpen just yet. I'll stick to the starting rotation. But I think that on paper it's okay, and it speaks. It should be a solid starting 5 in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off what you said. I want to say hi to Asia as well. Gabriel, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate all you guys. You were talking about how, you kind of started with that you thought the Mets offseason was underwhelming a bit because we wanted big fish, so on and so forth. I actually think the Mets had a great offseason. When I had a chance to look back and see what they did, now, did they fill everything? No. I still think we got a hole or two in the bullpen, but I thought they made a lot of smart moves. I actually love the Walker signing. I think he's going to fill in really nicely as a 4th starter. It was kind of like the Kluber signing for the Yankees, but I think it's even better. I really do. I think he's going to pitch very well for us. I think Kluber's kind of more of a question mark at this point than Taijuan Walker, who kind of bounced back and pitched well the last couple of years off the Tommy John surgery. So I think the Mets got a good deal there. 2 years, $20 million. As far as the starting rotation goes, I love it. I love our starting rotation. That's before Syndergaard comes back, and hopefully he does. And also, Lucchese as well. We were talking about that before we started. He's a guy that could step in. He's a pretty good pitcher, who's going to be in the bullpen as a long man, you would imagine. But our starting five, I mean, Jacob deGrom, in my opinion, the best pitcher in baseball. And then Carrasco, who is, I think, a solid number 2. Stroman's where he belongs in the 3 spot. Walker, I think, is a very good 4, and Peterson is, I think, more than sufficient for a number 5. Of course, as a Mets fan, you're going to go in and you're going to be skeptical and you're going to be nervous going into the year. But as far as the starting rotation, man, I think it's one of the better in the National League. That's without me going over every team, and I'm sure we're going to do a divisional breakdown before the year starts and everything else. But I like our rotation. I actually like our rotation a lot. The Achilles heel, there's no doubt about it, is the bullpen. Edwin Diaz, Dellin Betances, we need these guys to finally pitch to the back of the baseball card. I thought Diaz pitched relatively well last year, but he still had his hiccups here and there. Definitely better than the year before, where he was abysmal. Betances was atrocious. Trevor May, I like to pick up. But yeah, we definitely need more help in that bullpen. That's definitely what I worry about the most on this team, and the defense, which I'm sure we're going to get into. But the starting rotation and the lineup, I think it's really good.
We'll definitely get to the lineup too in a second, because I have had some heated debates with some of my closest Met fans on where everyone kind of goes in this lineup, where things are set right now. But a few things I want to hit on here. Yeah, the bullpen scares the shit out of me. Betances is pitching about low 90s right now from the reports I heard, which isn't really the Dellin Betances of old, so that's kind of concerning. But if he could have some control, which I won't hold my breath on because it's Dellin Betances, if he could somehow find control, then we'll be in good shape with that. But really, the biggest question mark is going to be Diaz. We lost the Entertainah. He'll be back in a second. But really, when I look at this team, man, this starting rotation is the bread and butter, because Jake is so underappreciated. I mean, you're talking about a guy who could be a easy, without a doubt, 3-time Cy Young winner. We're good, Tino. We picked up, no problem. Just a little hiccup.
I don't know what happened. That happens every now and again. I get a pop-up and it knocks me out.
It's all good. But really, what I was going to get at, Betances, but we are definitely first team all league in trash talk on Twitter. We mentioned it a little bit with Bauer and Syndergaard. Stroman's in there stirring the pot with haters, with fans, with Yankee fans. I mean, it's a little all over the place right now. I think with all this hype, that's what's scaring me the most. I just really hope we kind of remember to play baseball and, put our money where our mouth is a little bit. I think this is a season. Look, after being where we were last year and the fucking Marlins make it as the second team in the East, like, you got to go in this season with all things lining up to have the rules the same way. That can't happen again. And I think the entire East, from the Nats and the Phillies, everyone's going to turn up. I mean, this division is not going to be easy this year. And so as much as all these pieces and the talk is great, we got to put this shit together. And I think we can. But, Syndergaard's not back for a while, so he's not going to help us. His Twitter words can't save us. Let's go to this. Who do you expect to see the biggest leap this season from? I think amongst the guys we have. For me, I'll just start with this. And this is like an easy way out, but, I expect the biggest jump from Pete. I think people are sleeping on Pete. I think he had a better year than a lot of people thought last year. And I think this season, speaking of social media, Pete deleted all of social media. And he's locked in, and I love the move. And I think he's dedicated to baseball right now. And I'd love to see Pete turn things around. Where are you guys at? Who do you think is going to be the guy on this team that kind of turns the corner and really lights things up for us?
That's a really good answer with Pete, because I'm starting to see people bring up, do you think he could potentially get benched if they don't have a DH halfway through the season if he's not hitting well because of his glove with Tom Smith? I'm with you on Pete. I think Pete's gonna be fine with the bat. But if I got to come up with another guy, you know what? I'm not saying he's gonna be a superstar, but I think with the improved lineup, and the lineup was good to begin with, but he was kind of in and out last year. Nimmo, I think Nimmo at the top of this order, if he is at the top of the order, I could see him having a good year for the New York Mets, at least with the bat. You still worry about him in center field, but if I had to go with a guy that's kind of flying under the radar, obviously everybody's going with the higher profile guys, I think Nimmo could have a really nice year for the Mets this year. I'm going to go with Brandon Nimmo.
You got a soft spot for Nimmo.
I like Nimmo. I like guys like Pete Rose. He always runs.
For me, honestly, when I think about it, especially with this lineup, and if I'm going to include an overall play, I think it's Jeff McNeil.
I love McNeil.
I think, yeah, McNeil, some consistency in that lineup, putting him back at a position that he's going to excel at, I think is also going to do a lot for his confidence, both defensively and offensively. So I think we can expect a lot out of Jeff McNeil this year.
Yeah.
Well, guys, apparently we look like cannoli brothers. I'm not sure how to take it. I guess very Italian. I think
MH is from my channel. He calls me a cannoli. He brings that up all the time.
he's telling me I look like Tomasnito too, which I'll take. That's not a bad one. It's the beard line. It's the beard line.
I can see MH is a huge Mets fan, so I'm glad he's over here.
Yeah, I think you guys hit it. I think Mage might have hit it on the head too. Look, Jeff McNeil still to this point is, I think, the most underrated player in baseball. I mean, he's starting to get the hype. I know on the MLB network rankings, he was, the top 2 second baseman, and the guy didn't even really play that much at second base over the last couple of years. It's his natural position, but he didn't exactly play there. So still extremely underrated. And really, for me, I think with McNeil, you can put him anywhere in the lineup. My question mark on him is, where the hell is he going to hit? Because I think he's good enough to set the table. Like, we have Nimmo leading off. I honestly think on days Nimmo's not starting, you just put Jeff McNeil to lead off and Lindor behind him and do whatever else you want, and you're immediately getting runners in scoring position and getting runs on the board, because how do you not?
This lineup, man, when I look at this lineup, I was looking at this lineup the other day, actually. I was just thinking about the Mets, and I was saying to myself, what is the lineup going to be? Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off base when I'm saying this, and I'm an optimist. Okay, I always go in every year, and the Mets break my heart. But I look at this lineup going into the year, and guys, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys will tell me I'm wrong. I can't think of a better lineup going into the year since I've been watching the New York Mets. I think it's that talented of a lineup. I look at this lineup. I look at the year that Dom Smith had last year. He clearly progressed. I think Pete Alonso's legit. Jeff McNeil, to me, is our best pure hitter. You get Lindor, who's the best shortstop in baseball. McCann's a solid hitter for a catcher. I mean, where's the easy out in this lineup? I don't see it. I am super pumped up about this lineup. In terms of the batting order, I don't know, man. It could vary. Like you said, I like Nimmo at the top because he's an on-base percentage guy. He walks, he sets the table, and then you get the big thumpers behind him. I would like McNeil in the 2 spot. I think he's a prototypical number 2 hitter. He's got a little pop. He's a smart hitter. He could spray it around the field. Good at advance. He does the things that are underappreciated in baseball at the plate. So good contact hitter. And then obviously you get to the Confortos. You get to Lindor. You may have Lindor. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how they're going to structure this lineup, because I could see 4 different guys batting third. I think it's going to be the hot hand. But the Mets have a really, really deep lineup.
So where is the easy out in this lineup? He's currently suspended for the year, so.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the you want to know something, and this has nothing to do with our lineup, but I saw that Jed Lowry signed back with A's, and I was just like, God, good riddance. Jed Lowry, just like, oh, what a time. What a time. I did want to touch on a couple of things here. So they're asking over under Keith Hernandez commercials this year. I'm trying to find the comment, guys. You guys are blowing up the chat. I love it. I love where we're at with it. I'll try to find the comment. Okay, over under 350 Keith Hernandez commercials.
Every time I do a Mets stream, we keep track when I do the play-by-play for the Mets stream. And it's always at least 2 Keith Hernandez Coin Gallery commercials. Sometimes it's 3. So 350 is probably the appropriate number. 162 times 2 is 324. I'm going to go over because usually you get 3 mustache commercials. I'm going to go over.
I love Keith's merch. I haven't bought any yet, but I'm a big fan of Haji. So if we can get some Haji commercials too, I'm all the way here for it because Keith is my guy. I wanted to circle back here and, stay on some breakout players. And obviously he's not going to break out, but in terms of who the hell is going to change this team and change this organization this year, I haven't felt it yet because obviously we haven't been through a season. But I think the Mets are going to get a big jolt of the Lindor effect. We haven't had a player like Francisco Lindor, and MH said it. We haven't had a star like him in a while, and I think you're absolutely right. I look at this team and I get excited, but the bottom line of it, of the excitement, is the fact that we add a guy like Francisco Lindor, who's an MVP caliber player, and I cannot wait to just see the impact he has on the team. You see his energy. He's wearing the Coming to America jacket. He's dyeing his hair blue. He's working with McNeil. He's teaching the guys on the field. I mean, but day in, day out, he's going to have this effect on the team that I don't think like we can talk all preseason about. We're not going to see until he steps inside the diamond. And guys, I mean, I can't wait. I really can't wait to see what the hell he does to this team because he's going to change it. I think he's a culture-changing player. He's the reason the Mets are about to change things up and really become an actual potential World Series contender year in, year out.
Yeah. He's absolutely, in my opinion, he's absolutely the face of this franchise going forward. I guess the negative side of me thinks back to Roberto Alomar, and I thought the same thing when we were bringing him in back in that 2002 team, but Alomar was much older. This is a guy that's still young. He's in his prime. This guy's legit. This guy is really good. The best all-around shortstop, in my opinion, in the game. You bring a guy like this into New York, and the fans are going to love him. And, yeah, like you said, when was the last time we had a young player like this that we brought in via free agency? Oh, well, this is a trade, but from the outside, that had this kind of spark. And maybe Beltran. I don't even know if he's on this level. Like Beltran's close, but this guy's a top 5 player in the league. That's how good this guy is that we're bringing in. So I'm super pumped up to watch him play.
I was thinking about something. So Steve Cohen is finally back on Twitter after being off of Twitter. Now he's back. But as we talk about Francisco Lindor, is it just coincidence that we didn't make any more big trades after the Jared Porter firing? I mean, it was the Francisco and Cookie Carrasco, right? And then after that, it seemed like everything else went downhill. We didn't get Springer. Who else did we miss on? We missed on Bauer. We haven't really made any other trades since then.
Well, I mean, look, I think you have a point, but at the same time, I do think that they're still generating the same conversations that Porter did when he got there. Because the thing with the Lindor trade and the Suarez trade that's still lingering around started around the same time. I mean, that was months in the making. A lot of that had to do with Sandy, too. I think the Mets, and that's why people who follow the channel, and I've talked to you guys in the chat about it, that I feel something's lingering. I think they're just putting these feelers out because whether it's now or they do what the Mets normally do and do it at the trade deadline, I think a deal's getting done eventually. I just think they're being patient about it because honestly, with the Lindor trade, you saw the patience worked out for them. In my opinion, I mean, you give up the 2 shortstops and Jimenez and Rosario and some other guys, but they win that trade. The only issue, and we still have Josh's comment up, is we got to lock Lindor up.
And we will. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be an insane contract, but we will.
Yeah, the patience for me in the trade market right now is the big thing because I don't want them to jump on Brian if they don't have to. Because, again, that's another guy on a 1-year deal that if you don't have Lindor and Conforto figure it out yet, there's no reason to even – that's a deal that it's like why give a guy like JD or Dom or any of these younger guys for a 1-year rental? But, like, people are making that excuse for Lindor, but I just don't see Lindor being that 1-year rental. You know what I mean?
No. Lindor is going to be here long term. We're locking him in. If they don't, I will flip out. There's no way. With Uncle Stevie, there is no way. The Mets are going to have to give him a ton of money, but their Mets will get it done. He's going to be our shortstop of the future.
Well, like I said, Lindor's agent flew in, so he's here now. So we'll see whether or not they start getting the talks rolling right away. I don't think there'll be an extension. Anytime soon, but at the same time, he's here, so they're having those conversations.
We'll get it done.
Yeah, so I want to go back to some of these lineup questions because MH says that he doesn't know if Rojas is going to stay with the analytics or use his head. I mean, they brought him in to use the analytics, but to what John's lineup looks like, and John, I would love, and I will go back to screenshot this and send this to my close Mets fan, the one I've been to opening days with, one of my close buddies, but he was ready to go toe-to-toe with me about Lindor not being a 3-hitter. And I tried to explain to him that Lindor is good enough, like we said with McNeil, good enough hitter, you can put him anywhere. Now, I do think typically in baseball right now, your best hitter goes in the 2-hole. That's why I do think with him being a switch, makes sense for him to go in the 2. But I would love Francisco Lindor to be a switch-hitting 3-hole guy because I think it would be a little untraditional at that with the fact that he's not the stereotypical 3-hole hitter, but it fits this lineup so well because we have so much power behind him. And I wouldn't put Dom behind.
I was gonna say I'd probably have Dom 6.
But when you go, if you can go Conforto or Dom, then Pete, and vice versa with the lefty, righty, lefty after that, I think that top is really, really good.
That top 6. And JD Davis is good too. With the bat, and McCann's pretty good.
Yeah.
But that top 6, I mean, Nimmo gets on base very well. He's gonna draw walks. And then you got McNeil, Lindor, Alonso, Dom Smith, Mike Conforto. Like, you're talking, the Mets had how many guys in the top 100? Pretty much all those guys were in it. You're talking about some of the best hitters in the sport all lined up together. We're going to have rallies late in games this year with that lineup. There's no doubt about it.
I just want to highlight Nick the Wick here real quick because he said 2 things. One, he said as a Dodgers fan, he thinks that the Mets are winning it. I love you, Nick, but I can't agree with you there.
Well, he said the East. He said the NL East, Mage. He said the NL East, and I'll take the East. I don't mind. I'll take a division title. I don't think
he say the NL East. I thought it was the NL. All right.
Yeah, here we go. And the NL East.
Okay. And then the other one, he said only if Joe Judge could coach 2 sports, the Mets will win the World Series. I love Joe Judge, man. So anytime I get a chance to highlight Joe Judge, I'll do it. But in terms of the lineup, though, let me ask you guys a question. Who's the starting third baseman? Is it JT Davis or is it Jonathan Villar?
Wow.
That's a great question.
I mean, Villar hasn't played there in, what, 6 years, I think, or something to that nature.
I'm not starting VR at third base in opening day. To be honest, if I'm giving the nod, I'm giving it to JD. Now, I would say though, VR can probably hide a little bit better at second base,
and you can put McNeil at third.
Yeah, you put McNeil at third, but then it takes McNeil out of his natural position. We waited all this time for him to go play second, so I don't know if that makes sense. Look, VR is going to get time at third base.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but to start. I mean, I don't know. But look, you could have the same argument too, though. Who the heck starting center? Because I love Nimmo. We're talking about he could have a breakout, but I mean, Pilar is proven. I mean, Pilar could sneak in.
I think Pilar is going to play on the corner too. I mean, I think there's going to be instances where they want to take Dom out for defense, and maybe one day Dom will get a break, or maybe he'll play first on Pete's rest day. They're going to get Pilar in there, but I do think Nimmo's going to probably play 5 out of every 7 games, maybe 6 out of every 7. I still think he's very valuable at the top of that lineup.
But here's the thing, though, with VR, though, and this is why I loved his addition to the bench, especially because switch hitting bat. I mean, enough can't be said about a power hitting, switch hitting bat like him. Again, utility guy. That's a late in the game move where if you got to plug a hole, make a double switch, something like that, take some guys out, extra innings. Even though extra innings, I'm still kind of irked about the fact that they're going to start with runners on second base. I think
I hate that.
Why?
And they kept the double header rule, and I get you're trying to speed up the game, but okay, baseball is a game we all know is a game about statistics. Like that's how you're judged ultimately at the end of your career. And now you're starting to make alterations to the game. And I'm a purist. I'm old school, whatever. I know they're trying to make changes to speed up the sport. But then you're kind of screwing up these players' numbers. Like now, these little changes, only 7-inning double headers. So whenever you play double headers, that's too late. I don't know. I don't like the changes. I like that they're trying to speed up the sport and they're thinking outside the box. I don't like the changes. I don't like that the runner starts at second base and extra innings. I don't like it.
You're being the old man that yells at clouds again.
I am an old man, and I yell at clouds all the time.
I'm here with it. I don't think he's far off, though. No, I think giving, especially in the MLB, you're putting a runner at second base. I think the advantage goes to the away team instantly. It puts the pressure on the bullpen. The bullpen pitchers in general just get the shaft in all these new rules to begin with, especially when you think about the juiced balls and just, I mean, really the works. No lefty specialist. I mean, guys got to be out there for 3 hitters at max. Like, it changes. I mean, statistics are really changing because of this stuff. I want to get through one more potential batting order here because I do love this idea too. Without a DH, Ray, I think you're right. And the Mets are one of these teams that love to do this. And maybe not Lindor at the top, but this is a situation where I could see McNeil lead off and then you move Lindor back to the 2. When you move the pitcher up, the Mets pitchers can hit. They move the pitcher up to the 8, and you go double leadoff with a guy like Nimmo in the back.
I like that too. I like that too. Yeah, I like that too, especially if you have a decent hitting pitcher, which the Mets have. I like that idea. You get the double leadoff man. So I love that idea too. Absolutely.
So I think Matt's saying that it's the start of the 12th. Well, I mean, so they get 2
I think
innings
he's
of.
suggesting it.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think he's
Yeah,
suggesting it.
that could be fair if you're trying to speed up the game. Yeah, 100%.
I don't mind it then. If that is what the rule is, I don't like it in the 10th. But if you're 3 innings into extra innings, if you want to try and make a change here and there, okay, I won't yell at the clouds for that. But I don't like it right away in the extra innings.
See, but can we just talk about the sport of baseball for a second then? Because you asked a question once before about cheating in baseball versus cheating in football.
On Twitter, I did. Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
Or maybe I asked it on here too. I don't know.
So, and I guess this is a good question for our listeners right now as well. But baseball is such a purist sport.
Yeah.
Right. So when we talk about football, you said, why is it that these guys will forever be labeled cheaters in baseball?
Yeah.
Whereas in football, it's kind of brushed under the rug and it kind of goes by. Right. But in football, the judge, jury, and executioner is the NFL. In baseball, the players are the purists that hold other players to this higher regard. It's the unwritten rules in baseball, man. So when you get caught cheating, you're not cheating fans. You're cheating other players is how they see it.
The history of the game. The history of the game.
Right. Because it basically, the players are the higher court in baseball. I mean, seldom does MLB ever get involved in a lot of disciplinary actions unless it's PEDs or something to that nature. We see it more in football than we do in baseball, but I think that also has to do a lot with hey, how come we don't want to see a runner on second base to start extra innings? Right. Or, bringing a DH to the NL. I don't want that.
I don't mind. I don't mind the DH.
Right, but
I'm accustomed to that. I'm okay with that.
I guess I'm just so intrigued by this idea is why is baseball considered this purest sanctity that just can't you just can't do anything different because it messes up the sport. I don't get it. But yet in football, we always want to change the rules every single year.
You're right. Yeah, that's a great, and that's kind of what I was getting at in the tweet. They want to change the challenge rule. They want to be able, this, that, the other thing. And I said, why is it that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are viewed as heroes? And they're viewed as the GOATs. But if they were baseball players, those guys would be they'd want them out of the league. You saw what happened to the Houston Astros. The Patriots have cheated not 1 time, not 2 times, 3 times they've been caught. And I'm sure and that's just the times they've been caught. We all know they've cheated a lot more than that. But it is interesting why baseball is held to a higher regard than football when it comes to being unethical. And I think I think it's because, like you said, I think the players have a lot to do with it, and I guess the respect for the history of the game in certain aspects. And it's very statistically driven. I don't think football is nearly as statistically driven as baseball is.
No, I think you hit it on the head with that. And I'm going to bring up Nick the Wick's question here because I'll predict the Dodgers, but I tie it in with kind of something that's wrong with baseball too. I mean, the thing with football, everyone kind of ripped them for touchdown celebrations a few years back, and now you're seeing people do line dances and celebrations, and it's kind of embraced. Whereas a team, and you want my prediction on the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers still win that division, but the Padres are knocking at the door. And I mentioned that because Tatis just got the mega deal in terms of 14 years, the $300 million. And the bat flip last year, the guy hit a grand slam while he's running up the score. And look, here's my thought on running up the score in the MLB. Do it. If this is a little league game and children are crying in the dugout and people are still getting upset over strikeouts, I understand a 10-run rule. But this is, again, you talk about a league driven by statistics, people who are judged, awards that are strictly judged on things like that, whether you bat 300, how many home runs you hit, the RBIs. And you're going to come at a guy for bat flipping a grand slam. So, I mean, that threw me for a whirlwind. And then now you look at it, he's about to be the face of baseball. He's on the cover of the show. And it's just so ass backwards. Because, instead of embracing that excitement initially, he got so much scrutiny for it. And now the MLB is putting him everywhere on Gatorade commercials and all this and that. And it's like, you came at a guy and reprimanded him for flipping his bat, for hitting a grand slam. So,
that's another thing. Now I go back to with baseball. Can we start allowing bat flips? I think it's freaking awesome when Batista throws his bat 30 yards after hitting a game-winning home run. I mean, if you want to attract younger fans, there has to be some excitement, right?
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
You get to celebrate. I mean, I remember Joe Horn pulling out the cell phone against the Giants. I want to punch him in his stupid head. But, I mean, now, like you said, the celebrations, group celebrations. After every fumble, interception they run down, they celebrate. Like, people like that. You want to be able to showboat, especially after doing something grand on such a large stage. I don't know, man.
To that point, though, last year,
in the outfield and in the infield.
There's no fans at the games. There were no fans at the game. So you should want to bring people in with that excitement. People should want to feel that they can't get the experience of the game and you're kind of cheating the people. So a quick shout out to John. Thanks for the positive comment there. We're keeping the stream up. As long as we can, we're going to be here talking to you guys until we can't really talk anymore. It doesn't seem like we have anything to do this Friday night, but I do want to get back to my thoughts on the Dodgers and that division because I do love the last stream. I was saying I'm not scared of the Dodgers, but I can't really say anything but good about kind of what the Dodgers have been able to produce lately in terms of consistency in the MLB, man. I mean, they really are. They're kind of where the old Yankees were. At this point in time, the Dodgers are where the Yankees were in just terms of consistency and being that good and getting the guys. So, I mean, until proven differently, and that's what I think the Padres' biggest gripe is going to be because they saw the Dodgers in the playoffs and they couldn't beat them there either. The Padres have to do what the Rays did against the Yanks last year. They somehow have to beat them in that season series, and that's probably the only way I can see the Dodgers not winning that division. I mean, they're just better than everyone else right now. I mean,
the Dodgers at this point are going to have a luxury tax of $1 billion. So,
on paper, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball, and in my opinion, far and away the favorites to win the National League West. But once you get into the playoffs, you guys know as well as anybody, it doesn't mean much. Pitching wins, and you get a couple of hot starters, they can carry you through. You look at the Diamondbacks back in 2001 with Schilling and Randy Johnson. I mean, they didn't have a great team outside of those guys, but those two starting pitchers carried them to the finish line. The Marlins as well.
Had Leiter.
Yep. Livan Hernandez, he won Rookie of the Year that year. You get some hot pitchers in the playoffs, anything can happen. But in terms of the regular season, I just can't see it. I can't see the Dodgers not winning the National League West.
And that is crazy too. What Ray's saying, the Padres have $1 billion infield. They definitely have, I think, $700 million on the left side because Manny's making over 300 too, over a long period of time. So I assume that's Hosmer. It could be close to $1 billion or over, and I don't even think they're really paying a second baseman. That's with 3 guys. I think I don't even think they're paying their catcher. So it's like 700 million, 750 million with just Machado and Tatis.
By the way, Tino, I think Asia is upset with you because she said, "Can the guy on the right just read my comment?" I don't know what comment.
Which comment, Asia?
But
I'll read it. I see it now. She says, "I am a Yankees fan, but Chris is my favorite Mets YouTuber. He's also very, very passionate about his Knicks too." I am Asian. I love my Knicks. You know that.
And Tino put another one up too. So I am a Yankees fan, but Chris is my favorite Mets YouTuber and YouTube boyfriend. Yeah. So
Asia works. Asia works at Citi Field.
Well, then we're gonna have to pay Asia a visit, aren't we?
Asia, I will be there on the home opener.
You didn't read her comment, so it doesn't matter. She's spitting in your pocket.
By the end of this, you're gonna love me just as much as Chris. Listen, we're Mets fans unite. I know you're a Yankee fan, but I've been to just as many Yankee games too. So also we can go to a Yankee game, we can go to a Met game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as we're tailgating. Nick does mention though the Dodgers have some good young talent too, and that's kind of what the mesh is, and that's why they're so good. They do have young guys. I do think they kind of messed up with Gavin Lux last year. I think they mishandled him. They didn't really have a spot for him. Urias, they've been trying to get him in and out of that rotation forever. But Dustin May, that's another guy. I think Dustin May his ceiling is the roof. But again, that's another guy. They have Kershaw opening for him. At least in the postseason, they had Kershaw opening, and then he closed, which is kind of where baseball is going, but not really traditional. You had figured this guy's going to be a stud pitcher. You want him to start, but he didn't really start as many games as you thought. So what do we got here? Al Leiter's son, Jake Leiter. Is he on the Mets?
Nah, he looked nasty the other day, though. He was pitching. Looks real freaking good.
Really?
Where at?
I forgot. I was watching the highlight. I don't know if he's a minor league or is he still in college.
John, let us
Al was
know.
one of my favorite Mets, but he was a jerk at the end. Didn't he badmouth the Mets on his way out when he went to go work with the Yankees or something like that?
I think I remember that.
But I always liked Al. Al he threw that one pitch. He had the cutter, and I remember there was one game Al Leiter pitched. He must have broke 20 bats. He used to break so many bats with that cutter.
Yeah,
Because
he's
the Vanderbilt's always loaded. Didn't Vanderbilt's ace? Didn't they have an ace who was filthy? He threw like several like no hitters, or he threw like a no hit. In Rocker. Yes, that's exactly who it is. Thank you, Crazy Dog. 100%. This guy's a rock star. I don't know if he's even gotten drafted yet. He's going to be a top 5 pick, or unless he's talking about Leiter, but Rocker was insane. I know he's got some juice. You guys should go to the Mets-Dodgers game. I will, especially if Noah Syndergaard's on the hill, because Asses will be in the jackpot, and he's just going to try to throw a fastball. So I will be.
When do they play the Dodgers?
We'll look it up. We can pull the schedule up. Let us know, Nick, and we'll try to work something out. We're still trying to figure out, what the situation with fans are going to be at the stadiums. Obviously, Madison Square Garden and Brooklyn, they're letting people in, but still at not max capacity. So.
Yeah. If they're letting people into the MSG, though, I mean, that's an indoor facility. I would think, more seats at a baseball game, easier to spread out, and it's outside. The scientists or the doctors are saying inside is what you got to worry about more so than outside. So I would think, I don't think it's going to be full capacity, but what do we have?
I was having that conversation today. I mean, if you're going to limit it to 15%. Do it for the indoor stadiums. Why are you limiting outdoor stadiums to the same capacity?
Make it 25% or something like that. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
I think they'll have 10,000 people at the field if I had to guess.
And not only that, too, people travel in groups, so groups are going to sit closer together anyway, which will create more spacing. So,
right.
Yeah, I was having that conversation today. I can't remember with whom, but.
Would have been nice to still have Kelnick in our farm system. He is unhappy with the Mariners. Listen, guys, I don't want to go down this path because it hurts. And obviously, we were looking for an outfielder this offseason, and Kelnick's upset that he's not getting brought up, and we would have probably brought him up by now. So, yeah, we could use him. We could use him right now, and it would be great for him to somehow work his way back.
Then we wouldn't have Robinson Cano, so.
Edwin Diaz.
Friggin' what was Brody's title again? Like before the Mets hired him, it was something ridiculous, wasn't it? He wasn't he didn't have any real great baseball credentials, right? I remember
he was an agent.
Yeah, he was an agent. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Only the Mets would hire an agent to be a general manager.
Oh my God, I don't. It still hurts. It's crazy.
He looked the part, but the guy didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Cano was his former
he's the president of the hot dog stand, is what MH just said. Honestly, he probably couldn't even be the president of a junior if he wanted to at this point. And he's signed to Rock Nation, isn't he? The CFO or something like that right now. Yeah.
He probably made commission off of Cano getting traded. Yeah. That's probably why he did it.
I believe he also represented Lowry as well, if I'm not mistaken. And
he did.
Ray West also said in the chat, DeGrom.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
If Brody sat next to the 7-line army again, he would be dead. He did sit next to them, and now in hindsight, that is ballsy. That is a ballsy move.
Have you guys ever traveled with the 7-line army?
Nah.
I haven't traveled with them, but when I went to opening day for the Nationals game, I saw them there. So
yeah, I've always wanted to do that. I've never done it. Maybe as this channel grows, we'll go on a road trip with the 7-line army.
We'll hit up the 7-line. Someone here will know it. Asia also said something. I don't want her to kill us anymore. She said she met you at a Mets game. That's how the encounter happened. So you can meet us at a Mets game together. We'll all meet each other at that Mets game. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, That's how you know, by the way. And that's a true story. That's how you know that I look like myself on YouTube in real life, because I didn't seek her. I was just walking on, I think, the 400 level at Citi Field, and she saw me, and she came up to me. She gave me a big hug, and she was excited. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yep. Well,
if I see you in person, I'll probably give you a big hug, too, Chris.
The camera doesn't always add 10 pounds. The camera doesn't always add 10 pounds, guys, but I do think that, we all kind of resemble how we look like in real life. Actually, I don't have a beard when you see me in real life.
You don't have a beard.
This isn't real. This is actually that Mage doesn't either. Mage actually has hair too. That's the.
How long does it take you guys to grow the beard? I've never grown a beard in my life.
About 4 days.
4 days to grow a full-grown beard?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're like Homer Simpson. You shave it, it pops right back up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the Santa Claus. You ever see the Santa Claus when he shaves the white beard? Just my favorite Christmas movies is pretty much that.
Wait, really all right. We're gonna get off topic, but that's okay. It's a podcast. Your favorite Christmas movie is the Santa Claus?
Oh
yeah.
Your number one.
Tim Allen Santa Claus? Yeah. Because
it's a good movie.
Yeah, it honestly, it's not the best Christmas movie, but it's my favorite. It has the sentimental value, kind of came out mid to late 90s about when I was a kid, and that's just the movie we saw. Yeah, that was the movie we saw. And like I always thought it was cool that the elves had jetpacks in it. And I remember distinctly things like that. He goes to a business meeting and eats a bunch of cookies, and he's just like a fat slob in it. And it's just those are the things you envy. Like I was a fat kid, so that's what you envy when you're a kid. You know, you could resemble that. What are your favorite Christmas movies?
My favorite Christmas movie. All right, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna wait for number one. I love Elf. Elf's definitely in my top 5. I love Home Alone. That's definitely up there for me as well. My number one Christmas movie, Die Hard. Die Hard. And to this day,
does everybody say that? I feel like that's just a cool thing to say.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
I know, but everybody argues. I just feel like it's
I love Die Hard.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess same could be said for Gremlins too, right? Or
Gremlins is great.
Anything else that took place around Christmas?
What's your favorite? What's your favorite? What's your favorite?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be. You already named the two. Really, it's Elf and then Home Alone. So those are the two that I put on.
What about Bad Santa?
Bad Santa was good, but I wouldn't consider that a Christmas movie. I consider like Christmas movies are feel good movies. I put on with the kids come Christmas time and we watch it. I'm not sure I would put on Bad Santa.
Santa's in the name. It's got to be a Christmas movie.
Yeah, right.
That's a Grinch Stole Christmas, though.
Sounds like he only saw one Christmas movie in his entire life. He's like, yeah, well, that's a movie I saw, so yeah, it's Santa.
Well, so How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I think, is a good one too. I think so. I think that you got to go off the infamous scenes. So like that's what I mean. So like I think of those things that stand out. Even with the Santa falling off the roof, and in Santa Claus, Santa literally dies, like falls off a roof and dies. I think that's it's a Disney movie and Santa's dying. You don't see that when you're a kid, but the thing with the Grinch, I just always remember him echoing in the cave. He's like, "I'm an idiot," and he comes back. He's like, "You're an idiot," and it's just as a kid, that's like the best.
Jim Carrey was great in that.
They want me to read this comment, Chris. This is a big one. They want to know if you're going to be at the tailgate. Is this an actual tailgate? I can't tell if they're.
That's the newest sponsor on my Giants channel.
Okay.
And they're going to be sponsored. Yeah, that's something we're going to be working on in the future. But yeah, we're gonna have a tailgate. They're gonna help hopefully fund the tailgate. And we're gonna try to get a lot of people together. So yeah,
awesome.
Giants game next year.
Listen, hey, and you know what? Soon we'll have Mets tailgates too. The thing with baseball, though, I feel like the tailgates have a different feel in baseball. Obviously, because of games, there's just more games. But I think what I like about Mets tailgates or baseball tailgates more than Giants tailgates is just the fact that you have the bar under the stadium. Like you can just kind of go in and just stumble in right there. Whereas Giant Stadium too, it's and the beers are relatively they don't kill you. Like getting a beer in Giant Stadium, if you really wanted to skip the tailgate, you just get murdered.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. You can get a 30 rack outside and enjoy it. So I don't know though. I kind of don't know what tailgate I like more because the thing too with baseball tailgates, it's warm weather for the most part.
You know what? I gotta cut you off because John, Christmas Vacation, it doesn't get any better than that. He's right.
That is a great one. That is a great one. Absolutely.
Really
but I obviously football tailgate is.
Doesn't the grandmother die in one of the movies?
What happened?
Yes, she does. I think
grandmother dies in one of the movies, right?
One of the vacation movies.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. I remember Christmas Vacation and Vegas Vacation. I don't remember the rest.
Ray, Mets tickets are available. I was able to purchase some. I didn't get the physical ticket yet. I used a credit I got from opening day last year to use it. So I'm basically if I can't get to the home opener for some reason, I'm just going to get a credit back. So, I mean, if you want to go for it and have that in mind, I know Yankee fans at least have been getting opening day tickets for the Yankees and have received physical copies. So I don't really know how everyone's going about things yet. I think they're waiting for the details to come out. But yeah, hey, listen, if you guys get tickets to the home opener, you let us know. I will be there, and we're gonna get rowdy. We're gonna get real rowdy. Okay, there's no way we're losing that. Where's the cowboy hat?
Are you bringing the cowboy hat?
I can bring the cowboy hat.
What do you mean cowboy hat?
Oh, you haven't seen the cowboy hat.
I don't know if this is the time and place. You know. Give me a hot second here. Give me a hot second.
The podcast was on fire.
Hold on.
All right, I'm looking forward to the cowboy hat. Giants tailgates feel more like obviously tailgates usually go hand in hand with football. They're infamous for tailgates before the game. Baseball tailgates, at least the ones I've been to,
it's a little more relaxed.
Laid back. Relaxed. Yeah. And same thing with going to a baseball game. So, nice.
Now, I think MH is confusing. It's just a cowboy hat, not the Cowboys. It's not a Cowboys hat. It's a cowboy hat. So.
Now, did you buy that or was that purchased for
you? You'd appreciate this. I went to a Miami flea market looking for baseball cards. Went there. There were more roosters, goats, and chickens there. It was like a very Hispanic flea market. They had no baseball cards. And so on the way out, while we're waiting for the lift, I just happened to see this cowboy hat, and it was listed for $4. So I could not get it for $4. I mean, come on, guys. This is no. Yeah, see, yeehaw. That's exactly what I thought.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
For anybody that doesn't know, Tino and I also have another podcast called Clapback Sports, in which we do a lot of Giants talk, NFL and in general. But yeah, as the podcast went on, the hat went farther and farther back, and it started to look like the Dallas Cowboys mascot by the end of the podcast. So
it'll come out on occasions. It'll come out on occasions.
You did say if the Instagram account got up to 1,000 follows, that you would post a picture.
Yeah, and I said I'd wear short jean shorts with it too, but we're a long way from 1,000, so we'll have to set somewhat of a timetable for that. I'm down to make the agreement, but how do I look like Woody, guys? Woody didn't have a beard. He didn't have a beard. Just because I'm white and I have a cowboy hat? Like, come on.
And that doesn't even look like Woody's cowboy hat. It was brown.
Yeah, and there's no snake in my boot either, so that there's that part too.
Cowboy Nito.
Yeah, Cowboy Nito. Oh, MH just gave us the follow, Mage. So we're one step closer.
That's it.
Follow closer.
The tassels and the denim shorts with the Cowboys are coming out. Anything that we wouldn't shamelessly do.
I'll double down and say if we can get the Twitter account also to 1,000 followers, same applies. If we can get the WHADDYA SHEA Twitter account to 1,000 followers, the same thing applies too. That's fine. Whatever's first, we'll get the cowboy hat picture. It'll be out there. It'll be out there. And once it's out, it can never be gone because
actually Mets opening day sounds like a great time for you to wear that too.
April 1st? Well, no. They're April 8th, right at the stadium.
Well, yeah. So opening day is going to be. They actually start on the road for 6 days, 6 games. The first week, it's all road games. I think it's 3 in the Nats, then 3 in Philadelphia, and then they play the Marlins. So, not easy. There's not an easy start to the season. I mean,
not the easiest way to start your year, but that's all right. The Mets are notorious for getting off to a good start, though. So, hopefully, we always win on opening day, or at least to start the year. Maybe not at home, but that's the way it always seems. We always win the first game.
So, just to clear this up, we're all Giants fans.
Yep.
Tana's a Knicks fan. I don't even know if Mage likes basketball. I am a Nets fan.
Chicago.
You like the Bulls?
Yeah.
Zach LaVine.
When I was younger, I didn't really know what team to root for. Jordan was the most popular player, but I stood with him, though. I didn't jump on any bandwagon. So yeah, I'm miserable. But.
And not as miserable as Knicks fans.
Knicks are at least in the
this year, I'm saying since we've been alive.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was looking forward to a Nets-Knicks first round in the postseason, but the Nets are just starting to beat the crap out of everyone without Kevin Durant. So I think they're going to be locked into that 1 seed soon. So unless somehow the Knicks kind of teeter down, I mean, I feel like the Knicks at that 6th spot make a lot of sense to me.
I hope
feel
so,
like that's
man.
kinda where
I want to play one playoff series. That's all I ask for this year. I'll be
well, so
thrilled.
the big thing though with that is too, because of the NBA playoff format, you want to be that 6 seed because you don't have that initial, you don't have the additional playing game,
Yeah.
which is wild in itself too. It's kind of like the way baseball is set up too. All these extra games now. It's
What do you guys think of the all the extra games in the playoffs and everything? Do you like the extra wild card that they've added? I remember when they made a big deal back in what was it, 99 or 98 when they first instituted the wild card, which the Mets obviously benefited from. Actually, no, it was before that, wasn't it? But what do you guys think of this extra wild card? Do you guys wish it was the way it was, or am I an old man talking to the clouds again?
I'm fine with it, man. Give everybody the opportunity. That's it. That's kind of what sports is all about, right? The great thing about football is that you can't have one bad game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
One bad game and you're out. It's the only sport in which that occurs, right? Hockey has a series, baseball has a series, basketball has a series. So I like the wild card aspect. Win and you're in, lose and you're out. That's it. It's simple.
I think, well, in terms of basketball, I think it's a little all over the place because it's kind of like the win and in thing, but at the same time, it's kind of odd that whoever gets that 9 seed and kind of works their way to play for that playing game has to beat the 8 seed, I think, twice in a row, right? Or
yeah, twice in a row. The 10 and the 9 both have to win 2 in a row.
I mean, and you're not the better team, at least on paper, so you're going to have your work cut out for you there. In terms of baseball, I don't mind the extra wild card. The Mets have already been in a game against the Giants.
It was exciting.
And it was a great game. Insane game. Came down in the 9th inning, so I love the winner go home with that. I didn't really love the additional division team. I think that's the one part of it I didn't like. I didn't like top 2 in the division. That part kind of, because you lose the purpose of winning the division. It's supposed to be division winner, and then everyone else fights.
That's not staying for this year, right?
I'm not 100%. They still have not ironed out the length of the season or the rules. Like on paper, everything is leaning towards one way. Nothing is confirmed yet.
I hope they don't keep it the way it was last year. Half the teams made the playoffs.
Hold on, I'm sorry. No offense, but the Nets won't stand a chance when Prime Reggie Bullock comes to town. Oh, man.
Prime Reggie Bullock goes 1 for 4 from 3.
I love it. We also had another one. So will we be streaming games together? We're definitely going to try to. I mean, that's definitely the plan at some point.
Yeah, Josh. Obviously, I'm still going to stream Met games on my channel, and we want to do post games over here, at least to start, and maybe for a couple of months to try to gain some traction on this channel. And we're gonna do a lot of post games over here. Maybe I'll have them on for some streams as well when they're available. But yeah, no, we're definitely gonna try to. I'm gonna take my crowd from my stream and try to funnel it in here for the post game. So we'll be doing a lot of those.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a lot of live reaction stuff, and if we could do the live games, hell yeah. There's a lot of games. 162 might be 150, whatever it is. Also, Ray, real quick, what will the 25-man roster look like? I'll probably put out a video closer to the end of spring training on that exact thing. But honestly, a wild card that I see making this roster, and right now he's on the outside looking in, is a guy like Jordan Yamamoto. I think if I had to think of a wild card to try to sneak into this 25-man roster, is him. I actually think he's a dark horse to actually sneak into this rotation. Just because if you think about how pitching worked last season with the amount of injuries, especially a team like the Mets had, and then when you just think about just how long this season will actually be, we're coming off a season that was 62 games. You're going back to 162. It's a long year. You need arms. I would not be surprised if Yamamoto is somewhere on that 25-man roster. But other than that, I think most of it is kind of what we expect. I think the bench will probably have a few positions to fight for, like Almora. Will Almora be sent down? Will he not? Those guys will teeter. But other than that, I kind of think the Mets are kind of cut and dry with the guys that they have.
Let's try to predict it right now. I'm looking at the roster. Pilar, Nimmo, Conforto, Almora, and Pilar, right? Oh, I said Pilar. And Dom Smith, even though he's listed as a first baseman. So that's 5 in the outfield if they go with those 5. Villar for sure is 6. Lindor is 7. Guillerme is 8. J.D. Davis is 9. Pete Alonso is 10. Is there anybody else you think in the infield, or is that it?
Well, you didn't say McCann. McCann's
a catcher. Yeah,
he's a catcher. And then you would throw Nito in that.
That's 12.
Because he's the backup.
And then you go to the pitchers. Maybe we'll cycle back, but you got obviously the starting rotation. We don't need to go over that 17. And then figure 7 in the bullpen. So maybe there's room for one more.
What about Jose Martinez?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe he's the last guy. Yeah, I could see that.
MLB is so dumb. It's confirmed that the 162 games, Josh, no extra playoff teams. Interesting. I'd want to see that because I know up into recent because they still hadn't decided on the I know the DH. I know all that stuff was rumored. That's where they were leaning towards, but they still had to go through the MLBPA because I don't think they had come to a full agreement. But I wouldn't be surprised if the MLB kind of just pushed it through and just said it's going to happen. Guillorme is definitely still on the roster, and yeah, Asia, I think you're right. If they kept the DH, Dom could play every day, and that's really the underlining thing, and we talked about it all offseason. It's just, what is the outfield actually going to look like? Is Dom confident enough in his ability at left field? He did split time, so
it scares me, man, because I've been a Met fan for a long time. I've seen these experiments, and most of the time they don't work. When we try to play guys out of position, specifically in the outfield, Todd Hundley failed miserably. Who else? Lucas Duda. He played in the outfield for a bit before we made him a first baseman. Daniel Murphy.
You know who should have never been in the outfield with us to begin with and just planted his ass at first base? Jay Bruce. I used to have to see Jay Bruce flop in right field way too much. That used to drive me absolutely insane. So uncoordinated. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Duda came up as an outfielder because we had was Delgado the first? I can't remember. But he came up as an outfielder. The same for Daniel Murphy. And there was another. The Mets they've been notorious to try to do this, and most of the time it does not work defensively.
Well, all the time. Only McNeil. McNeil's like the only person, and they have somehow managed not to mess up. And they also do that with pitchers. They do the bullpen to starter thing. They did it with Lugo. He's the only one who didn't get messed up, and now he's hurt. But they do it with Gesellman, and that's why I would not be surprised if the Yamamotos, the Lucchese's, I really hope, and that's why I keep mentioning Peterson. Do not do that to Peterson. Like, they need to not bring Peterson to the bullpen and then bring him back to the start. Keep the guy as our lefty. We need one in the rotation.
You don't want to screw with his head.
Ray, I never said that chant of Bruce. Yeah, Jay Bruce is with the Yankees. That's right.
What did you have? What was wrong with the Bruce chant? You just didn't like Jay Bruce?
I did not like Jay Bruce.
Is he like your least favorite Met of all time?
No, in recent memory, he's one of them. He's definitely one of them. I'll try to think. Hansel Robles. I think Hansel Robles is my all-time least favorite, but Juris Familia is definitely a close second.
What about Ali P?
Ali P. Well, yes and no.
Luis Castillo.
The thing is, though, like, people give gripes to Castillo because he didn't live up to the hype, but, like, I also saw him as, like, he was, like, an incentive at the time of the team. Like, if he panned out, that would have been great, but, like,
I will never forgive him. Older. I will never forgive him for the drop pop-up.
The drop pop-up. K-Rod. I hated K-Rod, too. See, like, on that team, I hate K-Rod more than Louis, for sure.
Oh, God, I forgot about K-Rod. Oh, what a bum he was.
It's not that Jay Bruce wasn't good, guys. I think he even made like an all-star team, if I'm not mistaken. I could not stand to see him fluctuate and take time away from first base, flop around in the outfield, and he was the least clutch person I could think of. Like, he was pop out or bust. He was pop out or home run. He's batting 240, and it's just like
he made that year we traded him. He made the All-Star game, Jay Bruce. And he had the hot first half. I was told when we got rid of him though. I was never like you. He's just not my type of player. I was never a big Bruce guy.
Well, the thing too, we still had Conforto on the team at the time. Yeah, and I remember thinking about it. He's taking time from Conforto. Yeah. So like that's the thing. I really would rather see a lot of these younger guys get the reps. Henry Mejia, he was just not a good person. I mean, but yeah, he wasn't. Robinson Cano's up there.
Wait, didn't correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Didn't Mejia get suspended for PEDs while he was on suspension for PEDs?
Yes, he did.
And he got a lifetime ban, right? He got popped 3 times, right?
Yeah, it goes 60 to 160, and then I think
what an
it's
idiot.
Like A-Rod treatment, because that's what happens. I think A-Rod got 60, and then he got 162. You get the whole season.
He was a good closer when he first came up. I was excited.
So Cano's one strike away from the lifetime ban.
Nah, he's like 50 anyway.
Yeah, he is.
Just wait until I see Cano next season.
Yeah.
Oops.
No, so right now the most hated Met on the team, though, for me is definitely Edwin Diaz. Though
it's always the closer, because that's the guy that always blows the game for you. You know, if they're not good, it's always going to be the closer's the most hated guy.
Aaron Heilman's up there. Yeah, the bullpen guy. Aaron Heilman's definitely up there. The thing with Robles for me was the point. And I'm glad, and I follow KFC. This is a shout out to Barstool. We don't need to shout them out, but he did a breakdown video on all the point ups. And I noticed this pre him doing this. He used to give up bombs. I remember in Arizona, he gave a dead center 450 bomb, and he pointed to the sky like it was a casual routine pop-up, and the thing just kept going. And I was like, this is what's wrong with the team right now. Like, we got pitchers that can't even judge a fly ball. Like, it was yeah. Robles.
Ray said, under the Wilpon era, there are so many hated players. He's so right.
Yeah. The Wilpons. The Wilpons are the most hated Mets of all time.
Oh, Evan Ingram is here. Hello, Evan Ingram.
Hey, Mr. Ingram, what's going on?
Now let's go over to our most hated Giants, and right at the top of the list,
Evan Ingram is a thorn.
What's his hand? Are his hands on fire in that picture?
No, those are crab hands.
Those are
crab hands.
Anytime you bring up Evan Ingram, it just Tino turns into a different person. So
I immediately just get this like ringing noise in the back of my head, and like the aneurysm starts to stir up. You know, it just starts to give me.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, I'm done with him at this point.
You want to hear something funny? Shout out to my ex. I knew things were done with me and my ex-girlfriend when on my birthday she gave me an Evan Ingram signed picture, and I was like, "This is it. I think we're done here."
That ended it.
I was like, you literally gifted me my most hated Giant. Like, you could have gave me an Aldrich Rosas autograph, and I would have accepted it.
That's a hell of a way. That's a hell of a way to end a relationship. I like that.
That wasn't the reason, but it's when I knew. It's when I knew. I was like, this isn't gonna work out.
You know, she got that. She went on eBay. And she typed in Giants autographs, and that was the cheapest because nobody wanted to touch the Evan Ingram autograph.
I saw an Evan Ingram signed auto jersey go for $30.
That's why she got it for you. And at that point, you're like, you just did this because you're a cheapskate. I'm done with you.
You didn't even try. Yeah. Evan Butterfingers. Honestly, Butterfingers are too good for him. I think the crab hands are great. I think
those are pretty good. Those are pretty good.
Looper sucked.
Brandon Looper.
Wasn't it Braden Looper? Maybe it was Brandon. I thought it was Braden Looper. But either way, he was garbage. He was from the Marlins, actually. He was a closer from the Marlins before we got him.
How about Mets fan favorites? Ike Davis. Ike Davis hit bombs. I mean, his bomb to the bridge is infamous. I mean, you could go through favorites for days.
I loved Ike Davis when he first came up, but he sucked. I mean, he was so streaky. That second year, he had an unbelievable second half. I think he had like 30 home runs after the All-Star break, something crazy. But that I've never seen a hitter in my life that stepped out of the bucket more than Ike Davis. That guy always took his lead foot. He was always stepping out of the bucket. I couldn't stand Ike Davis after a while. I loved him when he first came up, and I got sick of him real fast.
No, he took daddy hacks. That's definitely a fact. I liked Ike, but not too much of a fan favorite. I'm trying to think. Like, I was gonna say Wilmer Flores, but for me, not so much. You know who I kind of liked? All right, my favorite guy I rooted for, and this is not a popular one. I loved Jose Valentin. I think of guys like that. I loved Valentin.
I feel like he's one of the most underappreciated Mets. Jose Valentin.
His mustache was great. I love the old guys who contributed to this team. Actually, I loved Lou when he was on the Mets. I even loved Sheffield's time with the Mets, and the Mets were terrible around that era. Like, those were like cool moments. Like Franco, when Franco was on the team. Like, I think I became a fanboy of guys that ended their careers on the Mets that I never thought I'd get to see actually be a Met. You know,
Wagner was really good with the Mets too.
Who was it?
Bobby Wagner.
Oh, Bobby Wagner. Yeah. Yep. I'll never forgive him though. I went to a Met Yankee game. He blew a 4-run lead in the ninth. I wasn't happy that day.
I got a soft spot for Benny Agbayani, though.
Love Benny Agbayani. I was at the game where Agbayani handed the ball to the kid with 1 out. He caught the ball, was the second out. He handed the ball to the kid, and they scored a run because of it. He still won the game.
Shout out Steve Traxel. I actually love Steve Traxel as a kid. I think he has one career home run. I was at that game. I saw him go oppo. I think he was a lefty, and he hit it in Shea to the retired number side of the field, right down the left field pole. Steve Traxel, man.
Steve Traxel was a pretty good pitcher. The one thing I couldn't stand about Steve Traxel, I've never seen a pitcher pitch slower. His games would take 4.5 hours. Steve Traxel, but he was a good pitcher. He was a little bit underrated, I feel like, by Met fans.
Yep. Mark, what's up? How you doing, man? Guys, I think we're gonna wrap this up though. We've been killing it for a while here. We're over an hour. We thought we'd get on here for about an hour, and then we had a list of topics that I think we crushed in like 20 minutes. So,
yeah, well, we did the batting order. We did we didn't really get into Kafur, but we did the majority of it. Like we said, we're kind of just trying to get a cycle going here because we want to start to get this going as we're approaching March, and maybe in like 2 weeks we'll have another one, and then as the season gets going, we're going to do this fairly regularly. So, as much as you guys potentially can. So, I'm looking forward to it.
MH wants us to go to 10. Here's what I might do, MH, from now on. If you guys give us a time, what we can do is like a rock show. We'll fade out, and then if you guys applaud us enough, like an encore, we just come back on and play the encore songs, and we close out the show. You know, I don't know about tonight though. Honestly, we could ramble here for a little bit longer. I appreciate the support. Let's just start there. I'm glad you guys love the streams. I love hearing the feedback from you guys. I always ask for your opinions in the comments. We just try to put the content out to really, honestly, we do this for you guys. We love to talk to you guys. We love to communicate with you guys and interact. That's what being a Met fan is all about. I truly believe the Mets and being a Met fan are the heart of New York baseball. Being a Yankee fan is easy. Being a Met fan, there's nothing really like it. So we do for you guys. We are one of the same with you guys, but we also accept all fans. Mark's a Rangers fan. Hockey, baseball, football, we could talk it all. We're here for baseball, but guys, hop in whenever you can. Obviously, if you haven't subbed to the channel yet, sub, follow all of us, do the works, and we love you guys. We love you.
Yeah, I think Mick the Nick or Nick the Mick, whichever one, said before he really likes the stream. He likes how interactive we are with all the comments as well. And I think Tino pretty much summed it up. We also love it as well. You guys keep us entertained. You guys keep us engaged. So keep the comments pouring. If you want us to even go for another 14 minutes here at this point, I'm good to go, boys. So if anybody has any questions that they want to ask us, just
shoot out your questions, guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, let us know. And you know what, MH, I think you're right. The streams are definitely going to grow as baseball season kicks off. Look, the whole point of us starting this channel 2 months ago was exactly that. We're going to try to get things going, talk to you guys, generate this, community between you guys. And then come baseball season, it's going to be nonstop. Games are going to come every day. So the content's going to be, plenty. All right, here we go. We got one, though, from MH. Brandon Nimmo, Frank Ntilikina, Saquon Barkley. Who has the best smile?
I love all three of those guys. Frank, I like Frank. I don't know if I love him. I love Barkley, and I love Nimmo. I got to go with Nimmo's smile. Nimmo's smile is infectious. You got to go with Nimmo's smile.
I was going to say that too, Chris. I was going to say it's the purest of the three, I think. Like when it's always so genuine when he does it,
Yeah.
I think Barkley has a great smile though, but I agree with you. Nimmo's infectious.
I'll say Nimmo as well because it is infectious. Also, shout out to Aaron Judge. He fixed his smile. I think he might actually stay healthy this season because he got his teeth straightened out. So,
you can't do that.
He did. He got his teeth straightened. There was a side-by-side picture. So, maybe he wins the MVP this year because I bet him last year and he got hurt as soon as I made that bet. Asia, I can't wait to meet you either. I can't wait to see a lot of you guys when it comes to the world getting back to normal and going to whether it's Giants games, Mets fans, Mets games, you name it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Daniel Jones does not stink.
Well, go to the comment before that from Mark Holmes because I'm laughing my ass off here with it. My favorite smile is every because everybody ever see when does a guy smile? I know he's being sarcastic, but my goodness, that guy looks like what the pit of misery probably is. Like,
how could he not be miserable? I mean, he's the worst.
My goodness.
He needs to change the scenery.
Did he smile when he was elected to the Pro Bowl? I mean, that was on video, right? Did he smile? Kind of.
Probably a little bit.
If you don't smile, then I mean, what are you gonna smile? He knew he didn't deserve it. If he didn't smile, he knew deep down.
How many drops do you think he had in that Madden simulation? I didn't watch it.
Oh,
I didn't watch it either.
I don't think he touched the field because in Madden they don't cycle in the backups.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Well, he might have saw the field on punt, which is probably where he should be on the field for the Giants, anyways. But
but Mark said Daniel Jones sucks, so that's it for Mark at this point.
Yeah, I tried to see. I think that's why I overlooked his comment. That doesn't count. Now he's talking about the Cowboys. We don't talk about the Cowboys here because unless the Cowboys had on, that's the only Cowboy on this show.
How many?
Tino, you and Chris will get free food. Good. No free food for Mage. I love to hear it. No free food for Mage.
No. Mage's getting a free food too.
No, it's probably right that she doesn't give me any free food. Ray West had a question. How many infielders do we have on the bench? Just Lewis?
So yeah, you gotta go VR.
VR and Guillermo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then if you don't count Nito, who's technically an infielder because he's a catcher. No.
Well, I guess Dom Smith kind of qualifies. You can put him at first base.
Jose Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez as well.
Well, really, the thing is too when you think about the Mets, you got guys. So JD's third to outfield, Dom's outfield to first. VR go anywhere on the field. I mean, a lot of these guys are very interchangeable. Jeff McNeil is going to play everywhere. I don't want
a huge advantage late in games too when they have to make substitutions, etc. They're not going to, they won't have to fit a square peg in a round hole. So
yeah. Well, and then too, Ray's saying that might not be enough. We also didn't mention Jose Martinez. He's a first baseman guy. He also plays a little bit everywhere. So I mean, we have corner infield guys and corner outfield guys, but really it's center field and up the middle that we don't have depth. But I don't want depth there. Like. We got Lindor, we got McNeil. That should be enough.
We're good. We're Gucci.
Yeah,
we're good. We're good.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So I mean, I like where the depth is now, but I would also like to see some of the younger guys in our farm system, whether it's a Maruccio who is supposed to play third base, maybe work his way up. I know he's not there yet, but ease him into it. Why not? But I get it. It's going to be hard. And I remember with Conforto during the World Series run, he kind of came up late because when you think you're a contending team, you don't really have the time to put a developing guy out on the field and give him the reps that, you think he'll need. But I hope to see it because I would rather the Mets get younger sooner rather than later.
What we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about the beef between Noah and Bauer.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about
touched on it. That is something that we can certainly touch on too. And then also your comment about Stroman with the Yanks.
Oh, okay. Well, so we can start there. My thing with Stroman, and I just don't like to talk about it too much, is that he just backtracks a lot. And the whole comment with the Yankees was just that he was linked to the Yanks before he got traded to the Mets. Initially, it came out at the time that he wanted to be a Yankee because he was from New York, and now the script has changed. And apparently, all along, he was a Met fan. He has more Met family members and Yankee family members. It just seems like a lot of fluff. And for me, it doesn't really matter what you grew up a fan of. Like, just be happy you're with the Mets. But to me, it bothers me that he dodges a lot of questions, like with just kind of like this a little bit of arrogance. Like he's like, yeah, a lot of fake reports out there. It's like, I don't know. I know the media kind of stirs things up, but to say that you were never going to want to go to the Yankees to me is
nonsense.
You want to go to the Yankees. I mean, come on. I'm a Met fan. If the Yankees throw money your way and want you.
At the end of the day, it's a business, and you go where the money is. So if the Yankees offered him the most money, believe me, he'd be a New York Yankee. Just like, when Granderson came here, he said he always said that he always thought Mets fans were the better fans. Yeah, but if the Yankees offered you more money, you would have stayed with the Yankees. So that's the way I look at it.
And then we got Noah roast for days. You're right. Bauer is a baby. So what happened with Bauer, and if you guys don't know, Mets fans are on here. So Bauer, for no reason, kind of called out Noah Syndergaard. I guess he thought he was leaking his dirty laundry on how he talked back to fans.
No, that's not how it happened.
Yeah, he started with pictures.
Noah started it.
Wow. We saw the picture.
At spring training, Noah posted a picture of I forget who the other picture was. Him and somebody else were talking. Then the next picture was both of them laughing.
That's right.
And he said, I forget the comment. Well, what it was?
It's something to do with his contract, I think. Oh, he said
he was like, oh, and sorry about that. I'll donate to your favorite charity or something. It was something to that or whatever. So Noah started it.
Noah's the man.
But still, that's like a subtweet joke, and then Bauer obviously takes it too far and screenshot a bunch of comments with Noah to fans, and Noah just put him in a body bag with gifs and just what he was saying. Look, I'm telling you, that Dodgers Mets game is going to be must see TV. It just is. There's too much there already from the past that it's going to be electric. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm here for the beef. I think the reason we fell off it was just that I love it. It's still early for it. Like when it's guys like Stroman, it scares me because it's like Stroman talked a lot last year, didn't play. So it's like let's make sure
that's a guy I'd like to see break out this year. We were talking about guys I'd like to see break out. If he pitches, like he did before we got him, even though he was decent the first year we got him, but if he pitches to a near all-star level as the number 3 starter, that could go a long way for this rotation. He's a big key.
All right, I got the tweet. So it was him and Gesellman, and then he said, I'm sorry, I chose another team, but I'll donate to your charities.
Listen, and he's going to donate to the charities because he just, raked in the money that he raked in. So, the thing is, too, I would want to know how much he offered to donate. That's the other thing. You know what I mean? If he's like donating $1,000, it's like, dude, $1,000?
He wouldn't even bend over to pick up $1,000 with the amount of money he just made.
Well, you guys have seen me. I've been going at Bauer on social media. And I didn't even want the guy. But, I mean, like, he's annoying. He's arrogant. And the worst part was, too, did you see he posted something about, like, not wanting to do an autograph, like, respect my privacy. This is from Trevor Bauer, the guy that used social media as a weapon to, like, to troll fan bases, get out of here.
That was ridiculous. The whole video thing, the LeBron James like video announcing where it was going. Come on, what is this?
I have zero sympathy for the guy.
Yeah, we're gonna knock him around the park.
We have a couple questions here. Who's closing games when Diaz is pitching like Diaz? God help us when that happens, because that will happen. I wish it was Lugo until Lugo's
probably
or Familia. I mean, you pay
Familia
enough. I mean, you have to by default. Honestly, though, I would love to see Trevor May get that bump, though, because with all that uncertainty, I think he's probably someone that might be able to embrace it. He's not a natural closer, but could kind of be that utility piece for the Mets out of the bullpen. Look, Betances, when he's off, and he has no
horrible.
And Familia lately too. Those are two guys that if they don't got their stuff, they're not touching the plate. Yeah. Like it's one thing to paint corners. These guys are nowhere close. Betances start a game. I remember infamously he was with the Yankees. I think he walked the bases loaded and hit the batter to score the winning run in like the bottom of like the 10th inning. Like that's talent. Like, you're really not seeing the plate. So all those guys scare the hell out of me. So I would like to see Trevor May at some point. Do we think the Mets will push for Chris Bryant, the Chris Bryant trade at the trade deadline? I think they're going to push for a trade, guys. Do you think it's going to be Bryant?
It's hard to say right now. I think it's definitely possible. You look at our team right now. You look at, where our biggest hole is probably third base. J.D. Davis doesn't have the best of gloves over there. He's a good hitter. So if we're going to add a big piece, I think it'll either be an outfielder or it'll be a third baseman. But if I had to guess right now, if you ask me, and this is way too early, but at the trade deadline right now, what I think our biggest need potentially could be is helping the pen. I could definitely see the Mets going out there and trying to add an arm or two into that bullpen midseason to try to put this team over the top.
Maish?
The one thing that I know is that the Mets added a lot of farm pieces this offseason as well. Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I said to you guys, I think it might have been on the last stream, is I think they're loading up for a trade. So I think they have those pieces in the farm system. They made that deal with Toronto. What was the other deal that they made? They were part of another three-way
trade.
Which one?
Kansas City?
Yes. Kansas City trade. So I think they're loading up, man. I think they're gathering some farm pieces, either reloading their farm or they're preparing for another trade.
So out of all the guys, though, and I know we're linked to Brian, and I love Chris Bryant, the guy I want to see the most here, honestly, I'm at the point, is Matt Chapman. If they could get Matt Chapman, I'm sorry.
He's awesome.
That's a match made in heaven on the left side of the infield.
Why would they trade him though? I saw the rumors, but why would they
It's
want to?
the A's. I mean, the A's don't pay their guys really. I mean, infamously, and he's a two-time Platinum Glove winner, and he's been in the league 4 years. I mean, he's gonna demand some money. I mean, at least an extension. So I mean, it makes sense. I don't know what the trade will be, but he's young. I think he's younger than Brian by a couple years as well. So
he'd be a good
I
get.
would love that.
He'd be a good get.
He rakes too. He rakes. And I love that that's under the radar. But like they asked JD Davis in his press conference, and JD responded, he's like, it feels great to be a part of trades, which I thought was a little, condescending, I guess. Like you can tell he's upset that he like wanted to be a part of the trade. But he said, he's like, Brian, Chapman, and I believe he said Suarez. I think it was Suarez. I think Suarez was the third one. But he said that's great company, and it shows where his game has come. So I honestly would love any of those guys. The cool thing with the Suarez trade, though, it looks like they're trying to unload Sonny Gray as well. So, okay, here we go. This is unlike baseball, and we could end on this one because we hit 10, but best baseball movies, guys.
I saw mentioned Moneyball. That's a really good one, but it's not the best, in my opinion. I mean, there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones.
I'll go old for you guys, so I look like, I'm not as, I could sound not as young as I actually am. Give me the original Bad News Bears. I love the original Bad News Bears. I actually like the remake Bad News Bears, too. But that's one of the first baseball movies I watched, and still to this day, hilarious.
Great movie.
But the bail bond jerseys, classic. Just absolutely classic. The dude's riding a motorcycle into the Little League game, drinking a beer, smoking cigs. Just classic. You can't. And then they get into a brawl, I think, in the championship game. So, I love that. Sandlot obviously is great.
My favorite. It's not even close. And I love Field of Dreams. That's an unbelievable movie. The Natural's really good. There's so many good baseball movies, but it's one of my most, not even just baseball, just in general, one of my most rewatchable movies ever. Whenever it's on TV and I see it, I have to watch it. Major League. I absolutely love the movie Major League. So Major League is definitely my favorite baseball movie.
Major League's great.
Those are all classics, man. The Bad News Bears, The Sandlot, Major League. So many iconic lines from them. Just everything. You're killing me, Smalls. Right? I mean, the guy still lives off of off of that. But movie for me that I really enjoyed was Trouble with the Curve. Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty good. It was good. Yeah.
I really like that one. You mentioned a lot of the classics, Field of Dreams, The Natural. But yeah, I really like Trouble with the Curve too.
What's the why do I always forget the name of it? The one with the women baseball players with Tom Hanks. What's the name of that again?
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own. Yeah,
that's a great one too. Yeah, that's a great one.
What's a good one too? It's underrated. The Rookie with Dennis Quaid.
That movie's great.
Yep.
The raining scene when he's throwing.
I love that movie.
At the radar.
Okay, I get goosebumps when they call him in.
Year? What's the one where the kid breaks his arm?
Yeah, Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year. Yeah,
that one's a pretty good one.
But going back to
Disney movies, Tino, you're really showing your age.
Angels in the Outfield's coming next, right? Angels in the Outfield.
Angels in the Outfield.
Little Big League. You ever see Little Big League?
Well,
what's the one with the dog, Tino?
Wait, what? The dog?
What's it?
Airbud? But no, I can't. I don't know if it's definitely Airbud, but there's like a million Airbuds. I think the first one's basketball though.
Yeah, I think it was basketball.
Sure, but I'm sure you've probably seen it.
There's one for every sport, I think. I haven't seen all of them, no. Wait, I'm thinking of another one now. Rookie of the Year. Thank you, Asia. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Baseball. Oh, Mr. 3000's not too bad. R.I.P. Bernie Mac.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That's a halfway decent one.
Going back to The Rookie, the two scenes that always stand out to me, one when he just gets called out to the mound. I get goosebumps when I see that with all the emotions, everybody in the stands. But the scene where he throws the ball and you have they have the speedometer for the cars, and he's like just so curious because he hasn't pitched it forever to see how fast he throws, and then he clocks in at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I feel like there's some key ones we're missing still. There is so many baseball. Well, we said Moneyball. Moneyball is obviously the most.
There's another one with Kevin Costner where he throws is it For Love of the Game?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Where he pitches for the Tigers. I think he throws a perfect game against the Yankees. That's another one. There's so
many. What about Major League 2?
Major League 2 is great. You got no marbles.
I know. We just
While
named
we
the
were
sequel.
talking about this, one movie that came to mind, although it's soccer related, but Ladybugs with Rodney Dangerfield.
Ladybugs, Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, you know
was-
what's good actually? Beer League. That's technically a baseball movie. Beer League's not too bad if you guys haven't seen
Beer League,
that.
I've seen. That's with Artie Lang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it
Funny.
was good. Oh, and the Benchwarmers. That's a baseball movie, isn't it?
Oh, the Benchwarmers is funny as hell too.
Yeah.
That's another good one. That's David Spade, Rob
Oh,
Schneider.
I got another one.
Yes.
With Keanu Reeves.
Oh, summer. What is it?
Oh, with the kids, Hardball.
Hardball. That's it.
Hardball.
That's it.
Who's the
Hardball.
chick in that movie? Who's the female, the love connection? Keanu Reeves love.
I haven't
connection.
seen it in a while, but I remember I really liked that movie.
Yeah, it was sad too. With the kids.
Yeah, really sad. But that's another really good baseball movie. Bull Durham.
Oh, we're thinking of a different one. I know what you're thinking of. This will come to me. It'll come to me eventually. We're talking about a different movie, though. At least I'm thinking of a different movie.
A different Keanu Reeves baseball movie?
Diane Lane was in Hardball.
Diane Lane. She was hot back then.
Yeah, so maybe we are thinking of the same movie. Yeah, like a young Diane Lane.
Yeah, she was hot back then.
I honestly take Diane Lane right now, too.
I would absolutely. Absolutely.
Diane Lane, if you're watching.
42, that's a good one, Dylan. 42 is a good one as
Yes,
well.
how did we forget about that? 42
42 is great.
Yeah.
What's the movie? There was a movie about the Negro Leagues back in the day with Josh Gibson, Jackie Robinson. It wasn't 42 though, and Satchel Paige. I've seen that movie 100 times. It's really good.
Have you guys? It's not that movie. You ever seen Babe with John Goodman?
I have.
That's
That's good.
movie.
Cobb. You saw the movie
Yeah.
Cobb?
Mhm.
61.
There are a lot of baseball.
61, yep. That was another one.
So many good baseball movies.
Like a lot, yeah. And I'd watch all of these honestly when they come on. I think you hit it on the head though. I think I was lying. I think because I'd watch The Sandlot when it comes on, but Major League I'd actually watch at any point. I think I can watch Major League whenever.
My most rewatchable movie ever, and that's up there. That's definitely my top 4 or 5. Is My Cousin Vinny. Anytime My Cousin Vinny is on, I have to watch it. I don't care if it's an hour and a half in. I got to watch the rest of it. That's my most rewatchable.
Yeah, that's really good. Movie I can never get sick of either is the Wedding Crashers.
Oh, that movie's great. That movie's great. That one kind of stood the test of time too, because I could still watch that and laugh. Where kind of with The Hangover, after I saw it like 2 or 3 times, I was like, I'm kind of done with this. But
all right,
Wedding Crashers stood the test of time.
I have one more movie for you too. It just movies in general. So my buddy J Paul 202 actually bought me like 101 movie quotes because I'm like a huge movie buff when it comes to this stuff. But an underrated comedy, The Cable Guy.
Okay, I was a cable guy. I was a cable technician. And after I became a cable technician, and that movie's very good, I went back and watched it. It's nothing like a cable technician. Nothing the guy does in the movie is anything like a cable technician. But no, the movie's really good. It was really funny.
There's so many iconic scenes. I remember because like he purchases an escort or whatever, and then they wake up in the morning. He's cooking them eggs, and he's like, I buy this time, you buy next time. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, you think girls like that hang out with guys like? And then Janine Garofalo was in that, and she's like, yeah. He's like, can I have utensils? She's like, there were no utensils in medieval times, so hence there are no utensils at medieval times.
That was
She's like, do you want Coke or Pepsi? He's like, wait, there was no utensils, but they had Coke or Pepsi.
Do you know who was originally supposed to play Jim Carrey's part in that movie?
No, who?
And I'm glad he didn't do it because I can't for that role. I don't think he would have been as good. Chris Farley was supposed to originally be the cable guy.
Really?
And then they gave it to Jim Carrey. And another known fact, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Matrix, which I'm sure you guys have seen. Will Smith was supposed to play Neo, not Keanu Reeves, and Will Smith turned down the part.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I was reading something about Keanu too. Just in general, one of my favorite actors, man. That guy is so selfless, everything that he went through growing up. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, he had like 3 stepfathers. I mean, he had such a difficult upbringing, and the guy's so humble, so grounded, man. And
John Wick is
such
awesome.
a hard life.
John Wick is great.
John Wick is the best.
Oh yeah, it's a really good movie.
Yeah,
I
John
really
Wick.
like that.
Keanu Reeves is one of those guys where I'm like, I don't know if he's a great actor, but everything he does, I like. So it's just that's all I care about. Everything the guy touches, I like. So Constantine, even I really like. Like everything the guy does, I like.
Yep.
So he's awesome.
Shout out to Gabriel. Yeah, if we did sign Will Ferrell, he would have played the outfield for us that day. I would have loved the Mets to be a part of that. And while you say that, all right, Pete, Tim Tebow with the Mets. We didn't talk about that. Tebow retired, guys.
Yes.
We talked about it between us. Tebow's gone. Tebow's gone. Sad day.
I was so embarrassed as a Mets fan when we signed that guy, because that was kind of when I felt like they did it as a publicity stunt, because that was when like the Mets were like in the tank financially. Yeah. And I was like, they're just doing this to make some extra money. Like, that was so embarrassing as a Mets fan that we signed that guy.
Pardon me on that. I also wanted to touch on 2 things real quick. Marissa Tomei in My Cousin Vinny. Oh, fuck. Yes. Absolutely. Give me Marissa Tomei any day of the week in that movie. Imagine you're a deer and you go over to the water. You put your water in. She kills it. She's like awesome. She's the ultimate ride or die too. She sticks with him through the whole movie and all his shit. So that's great. And you know, my favorite movie, my favorite comedy. Will Ferrell's my favorite comedian. I love Anchorman. Anchorman's great. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, that is why I have Anchorman as my profile picture, at least my face cropped on it. It used to just be him in that movie. But if I could be Ron Burgundy, I think in a second life I would be Ron Burgundy.
You want to talk about a movie with one-liners? Ow now, brown cow. The arsonist had oddly shaped feet. The milk was a bad choice.
Lanolin? Like sheep wool?
Yeah. How about the scene where the whale's vagina? Santiago, German for whale's vagina.
I believe it means Saint Diego. Wow. Agree to disagree.
But how about this scene where he takes her out to dinner and it's clearly obvious that he sets it up so he could go up there and play the jazz flute?
You want to hear something great?
And he just pulls it out of like his shirt.
Do you know the name of the restaurant? Anybody?
No.
Tino's. There's
Really?
a sign in the back. My friend wanted to find it. He was going to give it to me for my birthday because he knows I love that movie. But you basically just have to custom make it. It's just like a blue lit sign. Do I like Marvel movies? I do. I don't watch as many as I should, but I watched up into the Avengers and everything. Do you guys like superhero movies? I like Marvel DC movies. It's not really close.
Somebody asked me the other day. They said, are you into? I'll watch all the movies. I'm not into comics though. So
I'm the same. I'm not into the comics. Love the movies.
Yeah, like some people will know, oh my God, this character's going to come out next because this is where they are in the Marvel universe. I'm like, I don't know. I'll just wait till the trailer comes out.
I'm the same. I'm the same exact way.
Josh, The Other Guys is great. I quote that all the time.
Desk Pop.
It's 9 o'clock. Shut up. Have a good day, everyone. Desk Pop. You should have shot. You should have shot A-Rod.
At the beginning. Yeah.
And then the whole scene of them fighting at the funeral and they're whispering during the fight is great. Are you guys kidding me right now? You're at a funeral.
I love the Prius too when he's driving in the Prius for the high-speed chase. Will Ferrell. and how he always talks down to his wife and she's smoking hot and he talks down to her like she's ugly.
And Michael Keaton is such an underrated police chief in that entire movie.
He works at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yes, he keeps talking about Bed Bath & Beyond.
That movie's great. That is an underrated movie. That movie's great.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is great. The Dark Knight is great. Yeah, I'll really watch anything. Honestly, that's another thing. I mean, everyone's buying AMC stock. I wonder if anyone's going to actually go back to the movies at some point because I think that's the best time to go see like one of those superhero movies or a movie like that. You don't want to watch it at home. Like you're streaming Netflix movies right now and Amazon movies. Those type of movies, I always want to go get the actual experience in the movie.
Joker,
theater.
My favorite character of all time, I believe.
Which one? The Heath Ledger?
Heath Ledger. I think he blows Jack Nicholson out of the water.
I agree with you.
Slams his head into the pencil. That one's crazy.
But when that movie first came out, before I saw it, I saw the reviews, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's even better than Jack Nicholson," and I was like, "There's no way."
Well, he was coming off of what was it? The 10 Things I Hate About You, and then Brokeback Mountain, and you're like, this is the guy that you get to play the Joker.
And Jack Nicholson was great as the Joker. So I thought
I saw that one originally in the movies too.
Yeah, but the new Joker was awesome too, with Joaquin or Phoenix.
Yeah, I was a little kind of.
I thought he was awesome playing the part.
Yeah, well, because it was kind of an origin story too, so it was kind of weird because it didn't fit into that whole DC kind of, with the Joker and everything. So, I mean, it as a standalone movie, I thought it was pretty good. But I mean, Heath Ledger though, man, oh my god, I mean,
yeah,
he did such a phenomenal job too, and even the makeup, the paint, like it was just, he was. I mean, rest in peace, but. He put a lot into playing the Joker.
It was almost believable. It was almost believable.
The most hated Joker, the least popular one would have to be the Jared Leto one, and I think he has a role in the new. There's a different cut coming out for the Justice League, and apparently he has a role in it with Harley Quinn and everything. So that's something coming out this year, and then I think there's a new Batman entirely coming out. No,
I saw that. I saw that.
Robert Pattinson. Coming out too. Yeah, so more movies coming out.
There's the movie.
All right, I think we held up to our end of the deal. We can talk movies all night. 10-15. We went 15 over, guys. We went 15 over.
We had some fun tonight.
This was a lot of fun. Honestly, we might just someone said Entertainah talking movies. We might just change this to WHADDYA SHEA talking movies. We could do this all night. We could just rival this off. But yeah, guys, this was great. I appreciate all you guys sticking around and being in this with us the whole way through. We're almost at 2 hours with the stream. Sub if you haven't subbed already. We said this already. Follow us. Follow the Entertainah. It's up to his channel if you obviously haven't done that already. But I appreciate the hell out of this. We're going to try to do this as much as possible. We'll have videos coming out every week, just like we always do. LFGM, guys, and anything to close? Anything else, guys?
No, man. I appreciate everybody who may have come over here from my channel, and I'm looking forward to growing this as the Mets become more relevant this year. And like we've been saying the whole stream, we're gonna have a lot more Mets content up when there's stuff to talk about. One thing that I kind of want to do, maybe in about 2 weeks, is to start to dive into the divisional preview, talk about the National League East, maybe do a stream or a video on that. That'd be cool. But once the season kicks off, we're going to have a ton of content. So be sure to tune in, guys, and thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for all the support.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, while everybody else is, plugging stuff, Tino and I also do a podcast called Clapback Sports, so you can also find us there as well. Podcast comes out every Thursdays, once a week. So mostly we're talking Giants on that podcast, but we do get into other sports as well. A lot of times I'm either yelling at Tino or Murph. So
and most of the time moving forward, I'll probably be wearing a cowboy hat. So I mean, we don't have the visual of that yet, but if you want to hear what Mage is talking to me about there, you'll probably see the visual here. So just it'll roll over. Definitely check that out. We're also on Twitter with that. I think it's clapback_sports. Correct?
Yep. Gabriel just subscribed. Thank you, Gabriel, to the Clapback YouTube channel. So appreciate that.
Are we doing the first preseason game? I actually checked the schedule real quick. That last one, any back massages included? No. But are we doing the first preseason game? I don't think SNY is streaming the first one. I know sometimes they only do radio with Spring, depending on what stadium they're at. I know they're on the 3rd. With SNY. I don't know if they're going to do it the first game, but if it's possible, we'll definitely try. We'll always look for an opportunity, but if not, probably the first televised Mets game, we'll definitely do pre, during, or post game of something. Just, I'll be hyped, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be hyped. So we'll definitely get it going, but yeah, hell yeah. Clap the back or gets back by the Met fans. That sounds good to me. That's a good way to end it. And LFGM. See you guys soon.
Thank you, everyone.